And welcome here to Talk FCB, and welcome back here to the channel, guys, for yet another video. And once again today we are going to be talking transfers. It's the international break, we've got to fill the time somehow, and today we're once again going to be going over some transfer targets. And I've got three really exciting players that we're going to talk about in today's video: Timo Werner, Nabil Fekir and Paulo Dybala. Three outstanding forward options, and we're going to be looking over each of them and the realistic opportunity that they could actually come to Barcelona next summer is the most likely destination. And we're going to start with Timo Werner of RB Leipzig, and we're going to talk about him in a bit of detail. He's a full German international, of course, 9 caps so far that he has with Germany, and it's pretty impressive already that his German career is well underway. He's only 21 years of old. You know, he really rose to promise last season when RB Leipzig were absolutely outstanding. When they came into the Bundesliga, they really took it by storm, didn't they? For a long part of that season, they were really challenging Bayern Munich. In the end, they only finished second, but for them that was a massive achievement and a real step in the right direction. And Timo Werner was a massive part of that. He scored 21 league goals in the league last season, and he finished the 4th top goal scorer in the whole of the Bundesliga. So a really impressive season last season for Timo Werner and RB Leipzig. He joined them in 2016 from Stuttgart. It was 10 million euros at the time, and that right now looks like an outstanding bit of business from RB Leipzig to bring him in, you know, the summer before last for just 10 million euros. They're going to be able to sell him on now if they choose to sell for a lot more than that. But wherever he's been in his career, he really has shone. He's really scored goals wherever he's been. You know, if you look at his record for Stuttgart before he went to Leipzig, 103 appearances for Stuttgart, 14 goals and 11 assists too. He's not only a goal scorer, but he can also contribute in terms of assists. And also then when he joined RB Leipzig, he's made 47 appearances for them in all competitions so far, 29 goals and 10 assists, and he really has been outstanding. He came through the Stuttgart youth system in the under-17, under-19 and B team. He scored consistent goals. He also came through the Germany national team setup. He's played for all of the underage teams, under-15, under-16, under-17, under-19 and under-21, and through those levels he scored goals consistently. There's one thing about him that he always will do: he'll get in those positions, and when he gets the chances he will certainly put them away. And the thing about Timo Werner, a lot of the time I think people maybe stereotype him a little bit wrongly. A lot of people think that he's just sort of this guy who's got a lot of pace, a lot of energy, he can get in behind and sometimes scores a few goals, but he's a lot more than that really as a player. Yes, he does have lightning pace, you know, he's got a right foot, it's fantastic. He's also quite strong on his left side as well, so he's quite balanced across both of them, but it's not just about his pace. You know, of course that helps him to get into some excellent positions, but he makes some very intelligent runs to get there. He knows when to make his move, he knows where he's got to be, he's got a lot of instinct in the box, and that's so important for a striker like him. In the right place at the right time can get you so many goals, and like I said earlier, when he gets into those positions he really does put the ball away. He's a very clinical finisher, he's very calm and controlled in front of goal, and I must say, every time I've watched him, I've watched a lot of his goals, and he is a really naturally gifted forward, and I think he would give a lot to a team like ours, because you think about Barcelona, you think about the way that we play, you do need to make intelligent runs, you do need to understand the game, and I think about if you look at Suarez at the moment and the sort of chances that he's missing, and a lot of people are getting frustrated with that. We need somebody maybe who's going to be very clinical. Suarez was very good at finishing off chances when he joined the club, and he has been for most of his time here, of course, and Timo Werner is certainly somebody that could come into the team, and if he got those type of chances, 9 times out of 10 you would expect them to be putting those away. In terms of our interest in Timo Werner, at the end of October, Barcelona were reportedly scouting Werner. Roberto Fernandes and his team went to a game with RB Leipzig against Bayern Munich. RB Leipzig ended up losing that game by 2-0, but apparently Barcelona were in attendance specifically to watch Timo Werner and his progress. And in September, Mundo Deportivo claimed that Barcelona could pursue a move for Werner in January, so that's quite interesting to see that a few links there. There haven't been, you know, a lot of links, there haven't been a lot of consistent links with Barca and Werner, but at the end of the day he's an RB Leipzig player. He's got a contract until 2020, and he hasn't really been linked away from there as of late to any real club in general, but I think he does want to move. Eventually he will want to further his career. He did come out and there was a few quotes being thrown around. He specifically said, I want to play for a big club at some point in my career, and at the end of the day he's still only 21. There's a lot of time for him to move. I think he's a player that would suit us. I think he's certainly an excellent goal scorer. He's got a fantastic finish, and I think there's a lot to his game as well which needs to be appreciated. He's got good ball control, he can receive the ball in tight areas, and I think for us he could be a very astute signing. The thing is though, if you're buying him from a club like Leipzig, they got an incredible amount of funds, he is going to cost a lot of money. If and when that time comes, we're going to need to be absolutely sure about Werner if we're going to spend that kind of cash. And the second player we're going to move on to now is Lyon's Nabil Fekir, 24 years old. A lot of you guys of course will know him already, a full French international. He's got 10 caps so far for the French national team. And Fekir, for me, is a bit more versatile than, say, Werner is. He's somebody who can play as a number 9, he can play as your central striker, but he is maybe one of those who would drop deep, who's happy to play a little bit more withdrawn. He can play quite easily in the number 10 role as an attacking midfielder as well, so he's quite versatile in the way that he can play. He's also played out wide at times, so he can play, I would say, right across that front three if need be. And he really has been in sensational form, mainly since he recovered from quite a serious knee injury. He suffered that a sort of year or two ago, and since then, really, since he's got back to full fitness when he's had a run of games, last season was a bit more difficult for him, but certainly this season he's been back in electrifying form, just like he was before he was injured, when then we were linked with him as well, and he has really been outstanding this season. In Liga 1, 11 goals so far in 11 games, and he very recently, I'm sure you would have seen it, replicated Lionel Messi's celebration at the Bernabeu. He actually did it against Saint Etienne after scoring twice in that game. They ended up winning it 5-0, but after that celebration, it actually sparked a lot of crowd trouble, and that caused a lot of controversy in France. But clearly, Messi is one of his idols. I think he said it in the past. He's certainly somebody that tries to mirror his game on Messi. He's left-footed. You can see the comparisons. He's quite short. But what I would say about Fekir is he might be small, he might be quite quick, but he's quite strong. In some ways, his running style, his technique is quite direct. He'll run at players. He's not easy to get off the ball, and I think he's a really, really strong direct runner, and I think he has an all-round game. We spoke about Werner being a finisher, being somebody who's very quick. I think Fekir takes that to an even sort of higher level in some ways. He can score goals, he can create goals, he's very, very good in the creative side of his game, he can pick a pass, and I think in terms of his all-round game, Fekir really is an excellent, excellent talent, and he is still just 24. You know, this isn't the finished article, he's still improving year on year. Like I say, that injury hampered him for quite a while, but he's over that now. If he can stay injury-free, keep playing his football, he really is having an outstanding season, and long may that continue. And in terms of our links to Nabil Fekir, Roberto Fernandes has also been in attendance very, very recently, scouting Fekir himself. He was in attendance when Lyon beat Everton 3-0 in the Europa League group stage campaign. Fekir has been involved in European games as well, but like Werner, he would cost. You know, if you're going to go and sign him, he would cost a lot of money. I would estimate around 50 million, 40 million euros possibly. In the modern market, you might say that's not that much maybe, but I think Lyon would sell. I think he's going to be expensive. I think for the right price he would go, but I think Lyon are a club that over the years have sold their star players. You think about Alexander Lacazette, who went to Arsenal. You think about a few years before that, Karim Benzema, of course, going to Real Madrid. If they are big talents, sometimes they can outgrow Lyon, and when they do, as long as it's for the right price, they will be sold. So it's going to be really interesting to see how Fekir continues this season, whether he can keep up this outstanding form, and when he does, who's going to be in for him? Is it going to be Barca? We're going to have to wait and see. And the final player that we are going to come on to here is, of course, Paulo Dybala of Juventus, 23 years old. We all know Paulo Dybala not only because of his performance against us last season, but he really has been causing a stir in Europe now for many, many years. Argentinian, of course, he's only got 11 caps so far for Argentina, though I'd expect that to sort of rapidly increase in the next few years. And like Fekir, he is a bit, adaptable in the way that he plays. He's mainly a centre forward, but he can play a little bit more withdrawn in the number 10 position. I would say that so far at Juventus, he's been deployed much more central, much more advanced in the field, and I think now he's sort of revolving his game more around goals than creativity. When he was at Palermo, he did a bit of both. He was more withdrawn, he was more of a number 10, he was happy to create, he was happy to score. I think at Juve he's been a lot more goals driven, he's been a lot more direct in his play, and he certainly does play majority of his game down the middle as a centre forward. And like I say though, he really has exploded since he joined Juventus from Palermo. Even at Palermo, he was making a few waves, he was certainly impressing there, he was a very, very big talent. Juve signed him for 40 million, and I must say right now, that looks like a really incredible investment from them, because they will be able to sell him for at least twice that amount and the rest if they were to sell him right now. Like I say, at Palermo, he had a lot of quality there, 93 appearances for Palermo, 21 goals and 16 assists in that time, but since joining Juve, he really has taken his game to an entirely different level. 111 appearances so far for Juventus, 55 goals and 20 assists, and he was a really big part last season of Juventus reaching the Champions League final in their campaign. Of course, he was part of that team that beat us 3-0. He scored 2 of the goals, and he was excellent on that night when Juventus knocked us out of the Champions League. What he didn't do last season, though, was be very prolific in the league. He didn't really have a good goal tally last season. Juventus won the league, of course, but he wasn't really as outstanding as maybe you would have expected him to be in Serie A. This season, though, it's all changed. He has been electric in the league. 12 Serie A appearances so far, 11 goals and 2 assists, and he really has been in very, very fine form, even though maybe Juventus aren't quite as good as they were last season. They've dipped a bit this season, but certainly Dybala has taken his game to a different level. He's more clinical in front of goal, he's a lot more direct, he can still create those chances, but he plays a lot closer to goal, and he's been a real threat every time he's near the goal this season. He's very strong as well from set pieces. We know about his ability, we know about his quality. He too is left-footed. He too has mirrored his game possibly on Messi. There has been a lot of links between the two, and although very recently though, Dybala did cause some controversy when he made some comments about himself and Messi on international duty. Dybala said that their games are a bit too similar, and it made it difficult to play with Messi, which did cause a bit of controversy. However though, Dybala has been known in the past to be a big Messi fan, also a big Barcelona fan. When he was at Palermo, it was reported they used the phrase, "I would swim to Barcelona if it meant that I could play there." So I certainly wouldn't rule out a move for Dybala. I think he's somebody that suits the profile incredibly well. He's so comfortable on the ball. He really would suit our style of play, I feel. He'll be a player that would score us goals, create goals, be very versatile across that front three. But like I said, with the other two, he'll cost a lot of money, and this man, so even more. I would say you'd have to smash the €100 million mark to get him, and the rest. We were very highly linked with him in the summer. It was sort of him or Coutinho. We seem to be going a lot more for Coutinho instead of focusing on Dybala. I think Dybala wanted to maybe stay at Juve for just a little bit longer, but I think in the summer, the time might be right then for him to move. I think he might start thinking about moving in the summer. Whether or not we're going to be interested in him then, we're going to have to wait and see. But if we do, he would certainly be a very interesting option. And at 23 years old, his game is ever improving. He's having a really good season. He would be a very interesting option. But what are your thoughts, guys? What do you think about these three players? I think they're all very different. I think, you look at Werner, probably very direct, probably the biggest goal scorer out of the three. You look at Fekir, his game is more of an all-round game. He can play a bit withdrawn. He could also probably play as an attacking midfield player for us. Or is it somebody like Paulo Dybala, somebody who can score goals, somebody who's probably in the elite class, the world class bracket, somebody who cost a lot of money, but you could get a lot of reward from that. So leave your thoughts down below, guys. Which of these three would you most like to see at Barcelona? And the other question would be, which one of these three do you think would be the most realistic signing at Barcelona? Leave your thoughts in the comments down below, guys. I'm really excited to see what you think. Thank you, as always, for joining me for this video. I will see you very soon with more videos. Let me know your thoughts down below as well. If you have any requests, anything you want to see, let me know down below. Any players you want me to talk about too. I'll see you very soon indeed. But until then, as always, Vesca el Barça. Barça! Barça! Barça!